Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome to my channel. Typically, you'll find me, Peter Masella, on an airplane filming out the window of a particular flight that I'm on, focusing very heavily on air traffic control and not just providing air traffic control transmissions, but explaining what they're all about, why they occur, and I talk very often about the relationship between aircraft in the sky. Why are we going in a particular direction? What are the published departure procedures, arrival procedures? Why is there an airplane outside our window? And what is the view going to be from your airplane seat based upon the National Airspace Systems, processes, and procedures? Well, today I'm going to do that again, but it's going to be on a flight that I was not on. This is a very interesting flight. This is going to be about an American Airlines flight that took off from LaGuardia Airport bound for Charlotte. However, on rotation from LaGuardia, this aircraft hit a bird, disabling one of the engines. Now, I'm going to be talking about this flight, but I'm going to be putting, like I do in most of my videos, a very heavy focus on air traffic control, not just listening to air traffic control, but focusing on why certain air traffic control commands were issued and the relationship between this aircraft and other aircraft in the airspace around it. We'll go through all the different facilities. This flight actually remained within the airspace of the New York TRACON the entire time because it diverted to Kennedy Airport. Kennedy Airport has a larger runway, so the pilot made sure that they got on the ground at JFK very quickly, and I'm going to talk about how the air traffic controllers got the pilot there. Now, there are many videos on YouTube that you can go to and simply listen into the air traffic control conversations and even watch what's going on a map of the screen. A lot of these YouTubers provide ATC and they provide graphics also. There's actually even a video out there of what happened from a passenger's perspective. The passenger happened to be filming out the window and you can kind of just see a flash of light coming from one of the engines when the aircraft hit a bird. I'm going to be doing none of that. If you want that information, you want to see things graphically, go to those videos. But a lot of the air traffic control communications are going to be open to interpretation. My goal for this video is to focus on the why. How did the air traffic controllers get the aircraft from LaGuardia to Kennedy, considering all of the other air traffic in the area? So I'm going to be focusing on this flight, but you will be hearing other pilots in the vicinity because there's a lot going on. So this is really from the viewpoint of an air traffic controller. So you can visualize a lot of things, but if you do want to see the tracks of this aircraft, I do encourage you to watch some of those other videos so you can actually see what has happened. I will be providing the same air traffic control that those YouTubers also provide. However, I'll be going a step further by providing air traffic control of other aircraft in the vicinity too when it plays a factor. So we're going to start off right away and talk about the scenario at LaGuardia Airport. This is an American Airlines flight, American 1722, an Airbus A321 that's getting ready to depart off of runway 31 at LaGuardia Airport. Runway 31 this particular evening is the departure runway, and runway 22 is the arrival runway. So aircraft are basically coming into runway 22 straight down the shoreline of the Bronx to the runway, and an aircraft that was coming from the south basically is going to be making left-hand traffic to runway 22. So if they're coming from the south or even the west, they're going to approach New York City from Brooklyn. They'll fly north into Queens. They'll pass by LaGuardia Airport to the east and then make a left-hand turn around the Long Island Sound in the Bronx, Westchester area to runway 22. Runway 31 departures, when they take off on runway 31, will make a turn to the right. Runway 31 has a heading of approximately 315 degrees. Typically, they'll turn right to 360 degrees after takeoff or 340 degrees. And this puts them in airspace that is west of the airport to make room for the left traffic runway 22 downwinds that are coming in from the south. So that's basically the setup. Whenever an airplane lands on runway 22, the controller can issue an aircraft in position takeoff clearance on runway 31, providing that the next arrival is not too close behind. So basically for every departure, you've got an arrival, you've got the crisscrossing runways at LaGuardia, and American is simply one of the aircraft that's next to take off. So we're going to start off right away by listening into this particular flight, getting clearance to go onto the runway. And we're going to start off before that, listening to the aircraft that's already in position being issued takeoff clearance because the runway is now clear for that aircraft to take off. Let's listen in.
First Air 4759, traffic 3 out to wind 30019, runway 31, we'll take off.
317, take off, 4759.
American 1722 to West Tower, 31 on the plane. Runway 31, American 1722.
Okay, so the Brickyard aircraft that was in position is now rolling, and now American 1722 has been asked to line up and wait. And the tower did tell the Brickyard flight that there was traffic on a 3-mile final to runway 22, which probably means that American will get takeoff clearance after that aircraft lands on runway 22. We're going to move forward a little bit more and listen into the next transmission.
American 2226 down to Charlie, left at Bravo, ground point 76.
Charlie Bravo, point 7, American 2056.
Okay, that's a transmission to an aircraft that just landed on runway 22, which is the reason why Brickyard got clearance for takeoff on runway 31. That aircraft is being asked to vacate the runway and contact ground control. As the Brickyard continues its flight, it eventually is told to contact departure control.
Brickyard 4759, can I depart?
Departure, Brickyard 4759, nice.
Okay, so the previous aircraft is airborne, has been handed off to the New York TRACON, which is the departure controller. An American, the subject aircraft in this case, is simply waiting in position to take off on runway 31. And that's probably going to occur once the next arrival, which we heard earlier was on a 3-mile final, lands on runway 22. So we'll move forward to this transmission where American is getting takeoff clearance on runway 31.
American 1722, traffic 4 out to wind 30017, that's 2231, so take off.
Chris, take off 31, American 19, or 1722.
Okay, American 1722 has been cleared for takeoff on runway 31. Now, we don't mention anything here. The pilot doesn't mention anything. However, it has been told to the pilot in advance that after departure, this aircraft should turn right to a heading, I believe, of 340 degrees. But let's listen into some transmissions that occurred after American was issued takeoff clearance from runway 31.
Runway 356, point 31 on point.
31 line up, wing, 356.
LaGuardia Tower, United 2678, ILS 22. Yeah, 2678, white tower to wind 30017, that's 2222, clear to land. White 22, clear to land, United 2678. Southwest 1451, Yankee Bravo, ground point over there.
Bravo, ground point 7, Southwest 1451.
Okay, so after American was told to take off, another aircraft was told to line up and wait. Another aircraft checked in with the tower on the final approach course to runway 22, and the aircraft that landed, which allowed American to take off, was then told to vacate the runway. So right now, American is simply on the departure roll, rolling down runway 31 for departure, and basically it's a standard departure. The tower is doing a great job making sure that this plane gets out before the next plane lands on runway 22. Now, what happens when the aircraft rotates is that the aircraft hits a bird. So the controller, I don't know if the controller actually saw this or not, but the controller is basically now going to tell the American Airlines aircraft, which is now airborne off of runway 31, starting that right-hand turn to 340 degrees to contact departure control. Let's listen into this.
American 1722, kind of departure.
Now, the pilot does not respond. This is all going to be in real time. The next transmission comes now.
Mayday, 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 American 1722, engine failure.
November, okay, American 1722, Roger, can you make it right down for runway 31?
We're too heavy, let's go to Kennedy.
Kennedy, okay, Roger. All right, just maintain 2,000 feet right now, and spread the heading.
Pilot doesn't say anything for a moment.
Say again for American 1722.
1722, maintain 2,000, spread the heading, we're reporting it right now.
2,000 American 1722.
So American called a mayday, and the controller immediately asked the pilot if he wanted to come into runway 31 without handing off the pilot to the departure controller. Now, in order to get to runway 31, the pilot would have to make a right-hand turn, and as you know, there are aircraft coming into runway 22. We heard those aircraft call the tower, so that would be a traffic conflict right there. But the good thing is that the pilot said he does not want to go to LaGuardia. He wants to go to Kennedy Airport. So the controller just had him maintain 2,000 feet. Normally aircraft climb to 5,000 feet, keeping him on this particular frequency. Now the next aircraft coming into runway 22 is about to call LaGuardia Tower.
Tower, Endeavor 5178, dial S22.
5178, just clear to land, runway 22.
Clear land 22, Endeavor 5178.
Okay, that aircraft is cleared to land on runway 22. So you've got aircraft coming in, and you've got American basically just flying out towards the northwest. Here's the next transmission.
527 Alpha, right turn, contact ground point 7, good time off the runway.
Right turn, good off 7 Alpha Hotel. We saw the flashes on that American on takeoff.
That's what's coordinating, so just contact ground right off the runway. Hey, good contact, strong behind you, get off the runway.
Okay, so an aircraft just landed on runway 22, and the pilot of the aircraft said that he saw flashes coming from American, but the controller wants to make sure that plane gets off of the runway right away to prevent the next aircraft on final approach from going around on a missed approach. Very interesting situation here. So the air traffic control is very, very focused on what's going on in runway 22, and you've got American that's actually climbing out over the Bronx on runway 31. Here's the next transmission.
1722, can you continue flying or you have to maintain 2,000?
We can continue, American 1722.
American 1722, continue climbing at 5,000. Continue climbing at 5,000, contact approach now. What's 0.4? They're going to reroute.
5,000, American 1722.
So 5,000 feet is the altitude at which normally aircraft will fly to.
1722, contact approach 120.4.
20.4, American 1722.
And now, while the aircraft is well into the Bronx, the tower controller is now handing the aircraft off to New York Approach Control, which is basically located in Long Island. And that is going to be the air traffic control facility that is going to be responsible now for vectoring this aircraft to JFK. This is not something that the LaGuardia control tower can actually do. This is the responsibility of someone else. So as the aircraft climbs to 5,000 feet, this aircraft then checks in with New York Departure Control.
American 1722.
American 1722, New York Approach, you're ready to contact, say intentions when able.
We'd like to land at Kennedy, please.
All right, so are you able to climb up to 4 or 5,000?
5,000, American 1722.
American 1722, turn right heading 090, maintain 5,000, either vectors to Kennedy, and looks like 31 right is the
31 right, American 1722.
Okay, so the controller is having this aircraft turn to the right. So this aircraft has actually gone pretty far out by this point, probably a little bit past the Hudson River, and the 5,000 feet allows this aircraft to pass over all those arrivals that are coming into runway 22, which are descending really from 4,000 feet all the way down to the runway. They're typically at 4,000 feet when they're on their left downwind leg, and they descend lower and lower via left-hand turns to runway 22. So the air traffic controller is clearing this aircraft away from those LaGuardia arrivals by keeping the aircraft at 5,000 feet, which is the typical altitude that aircraft climb to initially once they take off of LaGuardia. Now, a flight down to Charlotte usually will get a higher altitude to get towards its initial departure fix, but obviously that's not happening right now. Let's listen to the next transmissions here on the departure frequency.
1722, when able, say intentions of the emergency, the nature of the emergency, and souls on board and fuel when able.
Okay, stand by on the souls and fuels. It appears we have an engine failure, but we're still kind of working through to figure out what's going on. We hit birds on the way out.
Roger.
Okay, so the pilot just identified what the situation was. He hit birds on the way out, which is the reason why there's problems with the particular engine, and the air traffic controller is asking the standard questions about number of people on board and fuel remaining. However, the pilot is way too busy to give that information. But in the meantime, right now, the pilot is just continuing towards the east, over the LaGuardia arrivals to runway 22. So this aircraft is going to head out over Long Island Sound, right above where all this action is happening for LaGuardia flights as it continues in the general direction of Kennedy Airport. Here's the next transmission.
American 1722, is it easier to go left or right for the turn?
Whatever gets us in quicker.
Turn right heading 140, American 1722.
140.
Okay, whatever gets us in quicker. The 140-degree turn occurs a little bit further down, and a 140-degree turn really puts this aircraft more towards Long Island, towards Nassau County, where the aircraft can be set up for the approach to runway 31 left. So the aircraft is progressing very, very well, totally clear of LaGuardia's flights, and it's basically entering airspace for Kennedy Airport right now.
Max 1722, clear to Kennedy via radar vectors, turn right at 150, maintain 5,000. Let me know when you're able to get X-ray or I can read it to you.
Okay, heading 150, 5,000, stand by on X-ray.
So it's just another right-hand turn, bringing the aircraft a little bit closer towards Kennedy Airport, still maintaining 5,000 feet. This aircraft is now over Long Island. Now, because this aircraft decided that it's going to go to Kennedy, LaGuardia basically continues its normal operations. Aircraft continue to land on runway 22, and the tower, despite there being a bird strike on departure, is still issuing aircraft takeoff clearance on runway 31. Here's the next airplane contacting departure control.
Departure Spirit Wings 356 is 1100, climbing 5,000.
Spirit 356, near critical contact, climb maintain 12,000.
12,000, Spirit Wings 356.
And now there's a transmission to American.
American 1722, you can expect ILS 31 left.
31 left, 1722.
Okay, this aircraft can expect the ILS approach to runway 31 left. Runway 31 left is the longest runway at Kennedy Airport. Now, runway 31 right is really what's being used right now for Kennedy Airport arrivals. Most of the aircraft coming into JFK are landing on runway 31 right, and runway 31 left is being used as the departure runway, but obviously they're going to have to do something to clear runway 31 left of all departures the time that this American Airlines flight comes in to land. Here's the next transmission.
American 1722, when you have a second, you know which engine is out and then souls of fuel?
Number 2 engine, right now we have 17,300 pounds of fuel, souls 200.
Okay, so we now know that it's the number 2 engine aboard the aircraft, and the controller, when a pilot declares an emergency, always needs to get the number of people on board and how much fuel is remaining on the aircraft, just in case. Again, it's just an in-case situation, because if the aircraft does need to be found somewhere, we know the total number of people on board and how much fuel is aboard the aircraft. So not a good thing that you want to hear of, but I do rest assured you that this flight will land safely. Let's continue on with listening to a few other transmissions here on the LaGuardia departure control frequency.
American 417, 2000, climbing to 5, 350 heading.
417, near critical contact, climb maintain 15,000.
Maintain 15,000, American 417.
Departure Flexjet 376, heading 260, flight, 6,400, climbing 7,000.
Spirit 356, turn left heading 230.
Left turn 230, Spirit 356.
Flexjet 376, near climb maintain 15,000.
Climb maintain 15,000, Flexjet 376.
So the controller is talking to other aircraft. There's another airplane that took off from runway 31 at LaGuardia. The Spirit aircraft is given a turn, and that Flexjet is actually a flight out of Westchester County Airport heading to the south, which passes through LaGuardia's airspace. So the controller is quite busy working other traffic, all routinely, with nothing else really being of concern to those flights, as the controller monitors this American flight, which is now heading towards Kennedy Airport. Here's the next transmission to American.
American 1722, contact approach 125.7.
257, 1722.
125.7. That's the next approach control frequency. And 125.7 is the approach control frequency for arrivals to Kennedy Airport. This aircraft has officially left LaGuardia's airspace and is now approaching the airspace of Kennedy Airport. So the controller, who's working in the same exact building as the previous controller, is now going to be working on a way to vector this aircraft to runway 31 left at JFK, while all other aircraft will continue to land on runway 31 right. It's going to be a juggling act here. Let's listen in to this pilot checking in with New York approach control for Kennedy.
First American 1722, verify 31 left.
American 1722, that's correct. Expect the ILS to runway 31 left.
Roger.
Okay, his first question was to verify runway 31 left, and the controller did come back to verify that the approach will be the ILS approach to runway 31 left, with all aircraft landing on runway 31 right. Now, runway 31 left is obviously to the left of runway 31 right, so in order for American Airlines to actually get to runway 31 left, he's basically going to have to fly through the approach course to runway 31 right. However, the aircraft coming in to runway 31 right are going to be at a lower altitude than flights coming into runway 31 left. So this aircraft can fly over the airplanes landing on runway 31 right and then flying to runway 31 left in a right-hand turn. It's going to be quite interesting. So you're going to listen into a few of the other transmissions on the frequency. Here's another aircraft.
Breakout 5807, turn right 060, speed 160.
Right 060, 162.
So the controller is vectoring this Brickyard aircraft to runway 31 right. Aircraft are approaching runway 31 right's final approach course from various directions. There's a flow that's coming in from the east, which basically follows the shoreline of Long Island, then makes a right-hand turn to runway 31 right. There's another flow of aircraft that's coming from the south, which makes a left-hand turn to runway 31 right. And those aircraft that are coming from the south, some of them initially came from the north, joining the aircraft from the south. So it's quite complicated. Approach is now going to talk to American coming into 31 left.
American 1722 to 718, 4000. You guys need any time to set up for the approach, or you want to go right in?
Descend to 4000, we'll need a few minutes, American 1722.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so 4,000 feet will keep American above the arrivals to runway 31 right. And the controller asked, rightfully so, do you need some extra time? It's going to be pretty quick. This aircraft is not going to go into any holding at all. It's basically going to be a giant right-hand turn from LaGuardia to JFK. Let's listen into the next transmission to another aircraft on the frequency.
Breakout 5807, turn left 340, intercept 31 right.
Left 340, intercept 31 right, fix 5807.
So that aircraft is the Brickyard flight, and he's being cleared basically to go to runway 31 right. Here's the next transmission.
KLM 643 heavy to 718, 9000, Kennedy altimeter 3037.
90,000, 3037, KLM 643.
So we've got a KLM flight being cleared down to 9,000 feet. This aircraft is obviously quite a bit out. So you can see here how the controller is working aircraft in a large area of space. Here's the next transmission.
JetBlue 380, turn left 340, intercept 31 right to 718, 2000.
Left turn 340, intercept 31 right, and down to 2000, JetBlue 380.
So you'll see that JetBlue, which is coming to runway 31 right, is told to descend to 2,000 feet. That is the altitude at which they're going to be joining the final approach course, and that allows the American flight to fly over the 31 right final approach course to get to runway 31 left via a right-hand turn. Here's the next transmission.
Breakout 5807 to 718, 2000.
Send 2,000, figure 50 to 7.
Again, 2,000 feet.
FedEx 730 heavy, cleared ILS 31 right.
Cleared ILS 31 right, FedEx 730 heavy.
FedEx 730 heavy, speed 160 to Zulab, contact Kennedy Tower 191, take care.
160 to Zulab, 191, 730 heavy, good night.
So without a doubt, the controller is really, really busy vectoring all these aircraft into runway 31 right and doing things like even issuing speed reductions like this transmission.
JetBlue 380, speed 160.
Speed 160, JetBlue 380.
Now, while all of this has been happening, American, our subject aircraft, is finally ready to come in and do the approach to runway 31 left. This aircraft really didn't need a tremendous amount of time. It will be a heavy landing, and runway 31 left, being a very, very long runway, will be able to accommodate it. So the only thing that really needs to happen now is this aircraft needs to fly over all of the airplanes that are coming into runway 31 right, and then make a right-hand turn and land on runway 31 left.
American 1722 is ready for the approach.
Very well, American 1722, turn right heading 230, descend maintain 3000.
230, 3000, American 1722.
Okay, that 230-degree heading puts the aircraft on a right base leg, almost at a right angle to the runway, and the aircraft is told to descend to 3,000 feet, still keeping clear of all those arrivals 1,000 feet below coming into runway 31 right. Here's a few more transmissions.
Brickyard 5807, no delay to 2000. Let me know if you happen to pick up the preceding traffic, 12 o'clock, 4.5 miles at 2000 into heavy 767.
All right, yeah, we got him in sight, and we'll hustle at 2,000, Brickyard 5807.
Brickyard 5807, thank you. Follow the preceding traffic, heavy 767, caution wave turbulence, good visual approach to 31 right.
All right, follow them, cleared visual 31 right, Brickyard 5807.
Brickyard 5807, there's traffic off your 3 o'clock and 5 miles southwestbound out at 3500 for 3000. The Airbus 320 inbound to the parallel runway.
Look at Brickyard 5807, thanks.
Okay, that is a reference to the American flight. So this aircraft is coming in towards runway 31 right, and off to the aircraft's right side at a higher altitude is an aircraft coming into what the controller said the parallel runway, so that aircraft actually needs to cross over the final approach course to get to the runway. The controller also said that that aircraft is an A320. I believe that is an error. It's an A321. Here's another transmission.
JetBlue 1852, turn left 340, intercept 31 right.
340, intercept 31 right, JetBlue 1852.
So that JetBlue aircraft is next. That aircraft is intercepting the localizer for runway 31 right, and that is going to be the aircraft that American comes really, really close to. Here's the next transmission.
KLM 643, heavy turn right 290, descend maintain 5000.
Right, 290, and descend maintain 5000, KLM 643 heavy.
So KLM is actually pretty far out, descending to 5,000 feet. This aircraft will not be a factor at all. We're going to move forward to the next command to American.
American 1722, turn right heading 270, intercept localizer 31 left.
270 heading, intercept 31 left, American 1720.
Okay, that's it. On that particular heading that the aircraft was assigned, once the aircraft gets to the localizer, he can turn and fly straight in to runway 31 left.
JetBlue 380, there's traffic about 2 to 3 o'clock, 2 miles westbound, level at 3000, American Airlines Airbus 320, inbound to the parallel runway.
Inside JetBlue 380.
Thank you, American 1722. Traffic off your left and about a mile at 2,000 feet. It's an Airbus 320 inbound to the parallel.
No contact, given advised, American 1722.
So the air traffic controller now is pointing out to that JetBlue flight the fact that there's this American Airlines aircraft off to its right. Same situation that the controller mentioned to the Brickyard flight. However, these aircraft are really, really close to each other. American is going to fly directly over JetBlue, or super, super close to JetBlue. American, though, does not have JetBlue in sight.
No problem. JetBlue 1852, you're cleared ILS runway 31 right.
Clear for the ILS 31 right, JetBlue 1852.
So JetBlue is clear for the approach to runway 31 right, and the controller said that it's okay that American doesn't see JetBlue. They have enough separation.
JetBlue 380, do you have the airport in sight?
Affirm.
JetBlue 380, thanks. Clear visual approach runway 31 right.
Clear visual 31 right, and we also have American right above us in sight.
Thanks.
Okay, he said he has American right above him in sight, and he is clear for the approach to runway 31 right. American is really, really close to the final approach course, making that right-hand turn. The runways are not too far apart, but far enough to allow simultaneous landings at the same time. Here's the next transmission.
American 1722, 3000, full stabs localizer, cleared ILS 31 left approach.
Okay, the aircraft is cleared for the approach to runway 31 left. However, he does not respond right away, so the controller does come back a second time for the approach clearance. Here it is.
American 1722, maintain 3000, full stabs localizer, cleared ILS 31 left.
3000, clear the ILS 31 left, American 1722.
Brickyard 5807, contact tower 191.
91, good night, Brickyard 5807.
JetBlue 380, contact tower 191.
921, good night, JetBlue 380.
Good night. American 1722, contact tower 123.9er.
239, American 1722.
So the two aircraft that are coming into runway 31 right were told to contact Kennedy Tower on 119.1. However, Kennedy Tower operates with two local control frequencies, the other being 123.9er, so American gets its own dedicated frequency for the left side. That aircraft is now going to switch over to Kennedy Tower and check in. So before we switch over to listening to the American flight contact Kennedy Tower, we're going to listen in to JetBlue contacting the tower on frequency 119.1 coming into runway 31 right. The controller will reference the American aircraft off to the now left-hand side.
Tower, good evening, JetBlue 380, on the visual 31 right, doing 160.
JetBlue 380 Kennedy Tower, 131013, following an Embraer, 4 mile set, runway 31 right, set line.
Clear line, clear line, JetBlue 380.
JetBlue 380, traffic and to your left, 321, landing parallel, descending on a 3000.
Roger, inside JetBlue 380.
It's now time for the subject aircraft to check in with Kennedy Tower on the left-hand side. Let's listen.
American 1722 with you, ILS 31 left.
Virgin 46 Kilo Heavy, Kennedy Tower, traffic 10 mile final, runway 31 left, line up and wait.
Runway 31 left, Virgin 46 Kilo.
American 1722, Kennedy Tower, cautioning turbulence, a heavy Airbus 330 will depart prior to your arrival, wind 310 at 13. Traffic off your right side inbound for the parallel, and Airbus 321 out of 2000. Runway 31 left, clear to land.
American 1722, we're in emergency. Can you just clear us to land, please, without having to worry about departing traffic?
Yeah, I was giving you the caution wake turbulence because it's a heavy. Runway 31 left, clear to land, American 1722.
Clear to land, 31 left, American 1722.
Okay, there's a lot going on there. As soon as American 1722 contacted the tower, he heard that there was a heavy jet that was going to be taking off on runway 31 left. But the controller came back and basically just said, well, I'm giving you the caution wake turbulence information. American is 10 miles out, which is more than enough room for wake turbulence separation. The tower also pointed out that JetBlue aircraft that we heard earlier, which is on the right-hand side coming into runway 31 right. Now, the Virgin aircraft, the heavy jet that's in position on runway 31 left, is going to be issued takeoff clearance right now.
Virgin 46 Kilo Heavy, runway 31 left, clear for takeoff.
Okay, takeoff at G46.
Now, American is coming into runway 31 left, and the pilot wants to just make sure that he has a plan in place in case he needs to execute a missed approach. Here's that transmission.
American 1722, we'd like a straight out missed approach if that's required, if that's needed.
American 1722, if you do that, you're going to cause more problems for yourself than you're going to save. I would highly recommend a 90-degree left turn on the missed approach.
All right, 90-degree left turn to what heading, sir?
220.
220 heading in the event of a missed approach.
And then there's a little bit more said.
Virgin 46 Kilo Heavy, left direct score, contact New York departure, good day.
Score 35-9, good night.
And American 1722, I missed the last part, say it again.
Yeah, what was the heading for us if we need it?
If you need it, left to 220.
220 heading, thanks, sir, if we need it.
Okay, so this is an interesting one, and it goes back to the beginning portion of this video where I talked about LaGuardia arrivals that are coming in from the south, coming into runway 22. The pilot wants to basically fly runway heading in the event of a missed approach. But LaGuardia is landing runway 22 with left traffic. So there are arrivals from the south that are coming north over Brooklyn and Queens that are passing to the east of LaGuardia Airport at 4,000 feet before making that left-hand turn to swing around to land on runway 22. So these aircraft, when they're over Brooklyn and Queens, they are basically at the departure end of runway 31 left at 4,000 feet. So if this American Airlines aircraft does a missed approach and basically flies straight out runway heading, he will be conflicting with these flights coming into LaGuardia. All flights that are taking off on runway 31 left need to make a left-hand turn. And as a matter of fact, we heard the controller tell that Virgin aircraft that became airborne to make a left-hand turn towards its initial departure fix. So if an aircraft does a missed approach, the procedure, of course, is to turn left. The controller then agrees that the aircraft can turn left to a 220-degree turn, which is a left turn of 90 degrees to get out of the way of those LaGuardia arrivals. However, he kind of did mention that there would be a little bit of leeway if he wanted to fly runway heading for a little bit, but in all honesty, that aircraft really should not go too far. Now, of course, it's an emergency, so he kind of can do what he needs to do, but in order to get out of the way of LaGuardia traffic, the best thing the aircraft should do is turn to the left, which he did agree upon. There's so much that the air traffic controllers need to consider here. Now, this aircraft is continuing on towards the runway, getting closer and closer. Let's listen into the next transmission as the aircraft is closer in.
And 1722, just so you know, the left turn is as you're able. So, if you need to go straight for a little bit to gain altitude, that's whatever you need to do.
Thanks a lot. And we'll be making a full stop on the runway and assess things. American 1722.
1722, roger. Be advised, the equipment is standing by.
Now, with this aircraft on a 7-mile final, the ground controller is alerting one of the vehicles where the aircraft is so that it can be in position once the plane lands.
Number 1, 8-mile final.
Okay, so American is now touching down on runway 31 left, and for safety reasons, the controller is now allowing a vehicle to actually enter the runway behind that aircraft that's landing. Now, do keep in mind that there is a lineup of aircraft waiting to take off on runway 31 left, because that is the departure runway. Of course, they're not going to be taking off.
Car 99, Kennedy.
Car 99.
You're at Kilo Echo?
Yeah, Car 99, Kilo Echo.
All right, 99, just behind these couple of deltas, my apologies. You can join runway 31 left, caution jet left.
Car 99.
Okay, that American is rolling safely down the runway and the car is following it. Now the airplane is coming to a slowdown and it's about to terminate all of its movement on runway 31 left.
American 1722, when able, advisory fire any assistance.
American 1722, we're going to have fire and rescue check. Number 2 engine's got issues, but we struck multiple birds out of LaGuardia.
American 1722, roger.
Okay, so he said that he struck multiple birds out of LaGuardia, and he's going to have the vehicles on the ground take a look at engine number 2.
American 1722, just switch frequencies to 121.65. I'll have the emergency equipment on that frequency to talk to you.
Yeah.
So the air traffic controller told the pilot to switch to another frequency, which is going to be reserved for communications between the vehicle and the pilot themselves. That's really not air traffic control. That's just a little bit more about them communicating to each other. What do they see? What can be done? Can the aircraft actually move? So I'm not going to present that information because it has nothing to do with air traffic. At this moment right now, the aircraft is sitting on a runway that wants to be used for departing aircraft.
99, you can also switch to 12165.
99, copy, 12165.
Here's the next transmission.
Tower
99, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to go 30 right, 31 left, close, and when the aircraft leaves the runway, I'll open it up there.
99, roger. I show 13 right, 31 left closed at this time.
Okay, so the operator of the vehicle has declared that the runway is closed. That operator works for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and they're generally the people that can make decisions about opening and closing runways. Obviously, that runway cannot be used, and obviously there are planes that are waiting to take off, and those aircraft are going to be a little bit frustrated because they can't do anything at this moment to take off. They're just going to have to wait in position there. So the airplanes are basically just going to stay on the ground. There's a Delta airplane that actually lets the controller know that a passenger has gotten up, but it's kind of irrelevant at this point because they're not going anywhere.
Delta 48, be advised we have a passenger up.
48, no problem. We'll have some warning.
Okay, eventually this American Airlines aircraft was able to get off of the runway, so the tower went back and told the Delta pilot that that aircraft is going to get off the runway soon, and the pilot said that they're going to work on talking with the flight attendants to get that standing passenger to sit down for takeoff.
All right, Delta 48, they're going to be moving shortly, so just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, we'll talk to the flight attendants now.
With no damage to the runway and the American Airlines aircraft off the runway and the Delta aircraft all ready to go with its passenger in its seat, the tower tells Delta to line up and wait on runway 31 left.
Delta 48 Heavy, 31 left, line up and wait.
31 left, line up and wait, Delta 48 Heavy.
Eventually, Delta 48 Heavy was given takeoff clearance on runway 31 left, and of course, as you know, it made a left-hand turn after takeoff, so it didn't interfere with those LaGuardia arrivals coming into runway 22. All right, guys. This was an intense video, a very intense situation, and I really hope that I put into perspective how this aircraft fit into the airspace system in the New York TRACON, specifically for LaGuardia Airport and Kennedy Airport. This aircraft did not leave the New York City area at all. There really wasn't any time for it to file a new flight plan to a new destination. The controller simply gave the aircraft radar vectors to get to the final approach course to runway 31 left, carefully flying over flights over runway 31 right's final approach course so that those operations were not affected. So even though there was a pretty decent emergency here, the aircraft itself really did not have much of an effect on too many flights except for departing traffic getting ready to take off of runway 31 left, which needed to wait a little bit for that aircraft to clear the runway before they could start using the runway again. Again, I do encourage you to visit other YouTube videos on this particular instance if you want to see the visuals of what happened. However, for those videos, you're not going to get the explanation like this. And this is basically how I run this channel. Even if it is a normal flight, like the flights that I take, I'm going to give you explicit and detailed air traffic control analysis on what it takes to get aircraft to where they need to go, safely being separated from other aircraft in the sky, following all procedures. The controllers did a fantastic job here. The pilots did a great job managing the aircraft. I'm not going to talk about the issue itself. Again, you can do a lot of research on that online to see exactly what it is, but you now have a really good understanding of what it took for people on the ground to get this aircraft from LaGuardia to JFK in a very, very safe and expeditious fashion. Well, my next video is coming out real soon, and if you haven't done so already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on my next detail-oriented video. Of course, I'll have many more videos where I'm the passenger, and my goal is to make a simple flight into something extraordinary, even if I take the flight over and over again. Thank you so much, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. I'll see you all real soon. It's time for a message from the sponsor of today's video, Extra. Extra wallets come in a variety of shapes and sizes and colors. This one actually glows in the dark. With durable wallets and card holders, the value derived from Extra is unmatched. I always carry an Extra wallet with me, and I know I'll never lose it because I can add an air tag to it. Check out their site. They have lots of awesome products. And as a viewer of this channel, if you enter code MASELA at checkout, you'll save. Visit the link in the description below. Oh, and from December 9th to 25th, Extra is having a Christmas sale with up to 50% off. Wouldn't an Extra wallet or accessory make a great gift? Don't forget to use code MASELA on top of the holiday savings.